What's up, everyone? Shane here on the mod squad. Today I have an idea on a mod that I want to do. This is going to be a stabilizer jack mod. Now, when you're out camping, if you're new, if you've never RV'd, generally the way you level a trailer, some trailers come with really cool airbags that level side to side. Some come with automatic leveling systems. There are some trailers that don't have those features. So generally what you're gonna do is you're gonna have some sort of stabilizers that go down on the corners. Those don't actually jack up the trailer, and that's a misconception a lot of people have. So the way you actually level a trailer is gonna be from your front tongue jack, and that's how you level front to back. The way you level side to side is going to be driving up on these, they call them Lego blocks. They sometimes have some Anderson blocks. They're really cool, easy to use, kind of a little bit of a pain point in leveling your trailer. So I had this idea. They do have different types of jacks out there, and I'm wondering if they have some stronger ones that we can modify or put in or upgrade into some of our trailers that don't have auto leveling systems, so that you can level the trailer from those 4-point corner jacks opposed to driving up on a block. Also, another feature would be changing your tire. Generally, you got to have a bottle jack or a high lift jack. If there were stronger jacks that could jack the entire trailer up, that would prevent the need of using a bottle jack too. So we're gonna head inside. I'm gonna go to David. David and I have been talking about this. We've actually done this in the past, but we just wanted to show it to you so you could get a good visual on it. So let's head inside and chat with David. Hey David, how you doing?
Hey, Shane. Got what you're looking for?
Okay, tell us a little bit about what you got here, and is this going to solve my problem in leveling?
I believe so. So this is the ARC X0850 corner steady. Essentially, it is the primary replacement for a lot of our stock steadies that are only used for just keeping the trailer from rocking. These are weight bearing and can do a lot more for a lot of the things you had mentioned to me.
Coming over here, we do have the stabilizer jacks, obviously, and these generally drop down and go straight down. Mm-hmm. So these jacks are not to lift
no, not at
the trailer at all, right?
So pretty much the idea of these is when you get to your campsite, if you're on an unlevel lot, that doesn't matter, because the only reason you're going to use these is to keep the trailer from rocking, whether it's wind or just walking around in it or other activities. It'll keep it just steady and not be moving around.
Yeah, so like I mentioned earlier, the way you're going to level the trailer is by driving up on some of those Lego blocks that to lift it up, the Anderson blocks, however you want to do it. Mm-hmm. But then once you do get level, you'll chalk the other side of the wheel that you're not on blocks, and then you'll drop these down to stabilize it. Now, these are not weight bearing really, just to stabilize it. So let's move back over to here. Tell me about what this is rated for, David, so people are aware.
Okay, so these are rated for 1,920 pounds each. So let's go ahead and open the box so you can kind of see what comes with it. We have our jacks here. This is just a single one here. It also comes with both a manual crank and
also comes with the socket.
Yep, the drill.
Oh, that's cool. So you can just throw this on any drill, impact drill, and just wind it down?
Yeah, just big thing to note is just make sure it's on the lowest setting. But otherwise, yeah, you're good to go. You still have the manual crank as a backup, but you know, if you have a drill, you might as well use it. So
that's awesome. So can I pull it out of the bag?
Of course.
This is like really heavy, actually. So that's very robust. Obviously, you're going to go into the install more.
Sure.
Can you tell me a little bit about, does it require some custom work on this?
So the big thing is, in this kit, it comes with a mounting plate. How ARC wants you to do it is essentially weld it to the frame of your trailer. But on the trailers we've been doing the installs, they already have a welded mounting plate to the trailer, to the frame.
Yeah, so it's integrated into the trailer from the manufacturer.
Yeah.
So does this actually fit into that same spot?
Yeah, so essentially we'll just take this off the mounting plate because we don't need it anymore. We'll take these bolts out and reuse the same bolts because these holes are actually smaller on the upgraded jacks than they are on the stock jacks. So essentially what we'll have to do is make these holes a little bit bigger, reuse the same bolts, put them in, and it'll be flush all the way across for a very firm fit.
Okay, and so essentially this actually is mounted like that.
Yep.
And then it drops down, mm-hmm. and you said it was a 1,920 pounds of lift.
Yep.
And how far does it actually lift?
So it actually extends. This is the shortest extension, which is about 23 inches. It actually has 10 inches of travel, so you can go up to 33 inches.
Oh, wow. So a whole foot of travel to be able to like level this out. That's very cool.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
Because odds are you're not going on camping in a lot that's going to have more than a foot of change from even the middle of the trailer to the back.
Being almost 2,000 rated for 2,000 pounds. Is that all of the jacks or is that per jack?
That's per jack.
So that's per jack. So essentially, once we put on all 4 corners, you almost have 8,000 pounds of lift between all 4 jacks.
Definitely.
And this trailer's 5,000 pounds.
Yeah, it's more than enough. It's overkill.
Yeah, shouldn't be a problem. And then this will allow, obviously, if we need to change a tire, you just lift 2 sides.
Yep.
And that's total 4,000 pounds. Gonna lift up one side to get the tire changed, level. That's really cool. Anything else?
You're not even putting the full weight of the trailer at that point. You're only doing half, and the other half is still on the ground, still being held steady. So yeah, if that's it, basically we'll go ahead and get it installed, and we'll meet back up with you guys and talk about just how the install went and anything else that's good to know.
Awesome, perfect, sounds good.
Okay, so we were looking at a MDC 15 before. Here, the actual trailer we're going to install these on is going to be a Dweller 15. This is actually one of our last ones here in Utah. I think there's some more in South Carolina, but this is also applicable for the Dweller 13s. Just to kind of show you both. As we kind of get down here, this plate here is essentially the plate that they provide if you did have to weld it to your frame. But like we mentioned on the MDC and also here on the Dweller, you can see there's already a plate welded to the frame. So we're not doing anything with that. We will end up not using this plate right here. But what we do have to do for this install is the hardware that both OBI and MDC use to install the stock jacks. It's larger than these bolts. It's not just plug and play of taking those bolts out, putting this one on and bolting it on, because our technicians actually have to make these holes larger. So what we'll end up doing is taking this off, making these holes larger, and then actually reusing the same hardware that comes with the trailer. So that's essentially going to be the install. We're going to go ahead and have our technicians come out, start doing it, then we'll talk a little bit more once it's fully installed. Hey Shane, so we got the finished product for the leveling jacks.
Awesome. We're in front of a Dweller, obviously, right now, but this can be done on any of the MDCs as well.
Yep, any of the MDCs, both the Dweller 15 and 13. It's completely universal, except for the fact that we reuse the same hardware that was on here before, because the holes for the new jacks are smaller than the ones.
So you do have to drill out the holes a little.
Yeah. So
okay. And this is, holy moly, this feels super heavy. Yeah, that is like twice the weight as the standard one. Mm-hmm. Feels very robust. And how do you crank this thing? You got the tool?
Yeah, so they give you a manual crank along with a socket that you can use. We always suggest doing a torque wrench.
Okay, so that's pretty easy, but
that's
obviously
easier.
This is easier. That's the way. And that's gonna crank it up. Will it actually lift off the tire?
Yeah.
Okay, let's try this.
Got to do the front one too.
Okay, this is the key. When you get to camp, you don't want to have to drive up on random blocks. So here's the front, and okay, so we use the drill, use the crank tool, and now, as you can see, you can change the tire, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, hopefully, again, it's not something you ever hope you need. For this purpose anyway, it's nice to have if you ever do find yourself in that spot. But otherwise, when you get to your campsite, if it's on level, I mean, that's the main point of it. That's where you're going to use it the most, is actually getting it level.
Yeah, no, to me, the jacks are not for changing the tires. To me, the jacks are to make your camping experience better.
Exactly.
You can grab a drill, it comes with a crank tool, and just get to camp. And it's crazy because even when you do drive up on those leveling blocks from time to time, sometimes it's hard to get a certain corner perfectly and the shower to flow, and people don't realize this until you're actually out camping. Sometimes it's really hard to just level side to side. This allows you to really just dial it in perfectly, because you can every centimeter
how you want,
exactly how you want it. So very cool.
Well, one more thing before we finish up is just some maintenance. While we have weight on it, it does come with a manual, but in the manual it basically talks about there's grease in here, and essentially you just need to take this cap off. But before you do that, the manual does say you want to have it be weight bearing, so make sure you have it extended. It doesn't have to have the tire off the ground, but just have some weight to it. But essentially what you're going to do is take a 10mm socket and take these 2 screws off. This plastic cap comes off, and then you'll have access to the gears inside. That's where you'll apply the grease. And then once you apply some grease, you then want to go around, turn this a few times just to kind of mix it all together, get all the bearings mixed with the grease.
And I suppose you're going to do that maybe once a year, or depending, if you're an extreme off-roader going out in the dusty roads all the time, you might do it more frequently.
It says to, if you're doing water crossings or salt water a lot, to do it more periodically. It doesn't give exact time frames, but just as a general rule of thumb.
I think sometimes I've noticed, like when you first get these brand new, they tend to move really nice and easy, and then over time you start noticing a little bit of a you got to start cranking it harder, and I think that's probably when you'll know, okay, I better take it out, clean it up, put new grease in it.
Yeah, you shouldn't hear any clicking noises. It does say that as well. If you're hearing clicking noises, that means the metal is probably actually rubbing against each other, and the grease is running out. So if you hear that, that's kind of a good sign to go ahead and do that.
Well, this is really cool, and to me, this is such an awesome mod. Really easy. It's not overly complicated to do if you wanted to do it yourself, or as you work with ROA, buying an MDC or a dweller. This, to me, is a must-have, in my opinion. Like,
if you're going to be going off-road, odds are you're going to find a campsite that's uneven.
Yeah.
If you're not going off-road, odds are you're going to find a campsite that's not even. So just having this is...
Oh, yeah, and then just this stability, it's going to hold, just, keep the trailer more stable. Just because this thing is so, like, it's solid. It's really good. So if you guys are interested in this, reach out to us. Maybe David will pick up, or one of our other service advisors. If you wanted to order one directly from us, you could, or get one on your next trailer. So thanks for watching.
And we'll talk soon and get your roamer ready.
There you go. Bye-bye.